Good afternoon. My name is Wendy Puggett, and I'm here with my colleague Jared Anderson, who you will see in a few minutes. We are here to talk to you about how to leverage federal student aid resources to drive awareness and increase engagement with your students. We are with Federal Student Aid. We're with the Customer Experience Group, and we're excited to have this opportunity to share this information with you. The first thing that we'll talk about actually is our Financial Aid Toolkit. It is our newest resource that actually we just went live on Sunday, December 2nd. No, actually Sunday, December 1st. Sorry, Sunday, December 1st. Before we go there, we just wanted to share with you our studentaid.gov homepage. This is a website. Studentaid.gov is a website that we launched last year, and it is geared towards students and parents and borrowers. This is a site that you should send everyone to, the students, parents, and borrowers to, for the entire financial aid life cycle. It helps individuals work through what type of school they want to go to, what type of education are they looking for, how can they get funding for their education, all the way through once someone has graduated and is now repaying their loans. So studentaid.gov is the site that you send students, parents, and borrowers to. We now have a new site for you to be able to use. It's a resource. It's called Financial Aid Toolkit, and the website address is financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov. You may be familiar with FSA for counselors.ed.gov. This site, financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov, replaces the FSA for Counselors website. This website consolidates all of our resources and tools that we have available for you in a one-stop shop. It has a library of all of our resources. And what we're going to do for the next few minutes is actually show you some screenshots of the main pages of the site so you can have some familiarity with it. And this site is built for you and for college access professionals to be able to help you through the outreach process. Thank you. This site, similar to studentaid.gov, covers the entire life cycle, the financial aid life cycle. So here's a snapshot of the home page. It looks very similar to studentaid.gov. That was done on purpose so that you see that it's part of the same family of websites that is all part of federal student aid. And the site is divided up into 4 main sections: learn about financial aid, conduct outreach, get training, and search tools and resources. And we'll go through each of those in a minute. I just wanted to show you a few things on this page. There's an announcement section at the bottom. That's where we will list all of our new resources that come onto the site. Our goal is to be continuously adding new resources for you in order to help you to conduct outreach. If we move on to the next slide. This first section is about learn about financial aid. And it helps individuals who are just learning the financial aid process all the way to some deep information for experts in the financial aid process. And what you'll see in this is that there's some information here, but a lot of it points back to studentaid.gov, where you'll find some in-depth information. The topics under Learn About Financial Aid are preparing for college, types of aid and eligibility, the FAFSA, and loan repayment basics. And as you can tell just from those topics that we do cover from the beginning of the financial aid life cycle all the way to the end. Next slide, please. Conduct outreach is the second section, and that covers the key topics around outreach. It helps individuals figure out how to host a financial aid night. It has sample social media information and also even sample language for articles and emails that you may want to use. We want you to use all of this information. We want you to be able to cut and paste from here and conduct your outreach. We also have public service announcements, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this webinar, but these are all resources for you to use. These are all free resources for you to use. And then we'll go to the next section, which is get training. This is actually training for you as guidance counselors. We have a partnership called NT4CM, National Training for Counselors and Mentors. And there's a section under this tab of the website that actually tells you where you can get free training in your state. In addition, there'll be webinars under this section and PowerPoint presentations that you can use to help you get training around the financial aid process. The next slide will have just a snapshot of the NT4CM page where it shows you the different resources we have there for you. Now, this is the most exciting part of the website for me. It's where we have our entire database. It's a section that has this very dynamic search engine so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. And if you don't know what you're looking for, if you know what topic you're trying to go search around, then it'll help you find materials. So you can search using 4 different categories. One is the resource type, and this can be handouts, videos, infographics, PowerPoint presentations, and then also who are you trying to help? That would be high school seniors, middle school students, parents, borrowers. It could also be guidance, high school guidance counselors if you're trying to do some peer-to-peer trainings. And then what are they trying to learn about? That's any part of the entire life cycle. So it could be about the FAFSA, it could be repayment options, it could be types of aid, and all of that's right there. And the last section, the last part that you can also filter by is the time of year: spring, summer, winter, fall. You should know that you don't have to put and filter through any of this and just hit get resources and you'll get a list of all of our resources. Or you can say, you know, I'm just looking for videos and not do any of the other filter categories, and then you'll get a list of our videos. So you can play around with that a bit. Now here on this slide is a example of a search and the results that happen. So here we decided to search do filters under all of those different categories. And what you see is that there's a PowerPoint presentation that comes up and a handout that comes up. That PowerPoint presentation is one for you to be able to customize. It is not PDF'd. We want you to be able to make this your own presentation, add local information into it, take out things that you may want to take out, but really make it your own. The handouts are ones that you can then print and then use with the audience that you're serving. You can go through this and refine your search further. You can also, if you were able to scroll down to the bottom of the screen, there's a little tab that you can hit and then get all of our resources that are available. Please know that all the resources and the website are available for anyone with disabilities. If you have a sight disability, you would still be able to read these resources and use them. And when you look at each of these resources, it actually gives you the name of the resource, a short description of the resource, and links to other related items. So it gives you a lot of information right there in that piece. Another unique thing about the site is that we have an RSS feed that you can subscribe to. So you don't have to keep coming back to the website to see what's new, what are the new resources that are available. You could just subscribe to the RSS feed and then you'll be informed whenever we add something to this toolkit. Once again, the toolkit site is financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov. Now we're going to move on to tell you a few more resources that we have available at FSA for you. And please know that all of these resources are free and are available through financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov. And I'm going to switch places with my colleague, Jared.
Hi, everybody. I bet you weren't expecting this. We should call this the Beauty and the Beast webinar. I'm just glad I fit on the screen. I thought I was going to have an IMAX camera. I got to tell you, we've been presenting for the past week in front of a lot of people, and being the social media guy, I got to tell you, I am more comfortable presenting in front of a computer than I am in front of a lot of people. So this is a big joy to me, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to be able to speak to you all today. So let's jump right in. I am going to talk about Facebook. We're going to start there. I'm sure everybody has a little bit of familiarity with Facebook. We wanted to introduce you to our public page that's on Facebook. It also looks like studentaid.gov as well as the Financial Aid Toolkit, because we wanted to keep the branding consistent across all of our social media platforms to this point in time. So how does that really help you all? I want to teach you all how to leverage media from 2 vantage points. One through the social platform, and another through using the Financial Aid Toolkit.ed.gov. I want to show you 2 examples, but before I do that, I want to let you know that on Facebook, we post every day, whether that's weekdays or weekends, at least once. We also try to answer as many questions as we can. We also try to monitor our comments that come in on a daily basis. So I want to give you an example of what some of those posts look like and some of the engagement that we get from our students on our posts. If you look to the right in the example with the military veterans, you can see that we made a post about resources that are available for veterans and their families. I want you to take a look that we, on each of these posts, in each example, we put our visuals there. We understand in an attention economy that visuals are very valuable content. It's an attention magnet. It helps people stay with our message a little bit longer and maybe possibly click through that message as well. As you can see to the right, in the example to the right, we also have a shortened URL. We do that through a site called Bitly. That's bit.ly. And we use Bitly so that we can track the movement and the actions from the clickable moment on the link. So we know where they're going on studentaid.gov and how long they're there. That's valuable information to let us know that our content is driving them to the right place and that they're finding the right information. One of the real cool things about Facebook versus Twitter is that we're not limited to 140 characters at one time. So if you look to the left, you can see a response that we gave to someone who commented on one of our posts, again, that had some visuals attached to it. This way, we're able to give them an in-depth answer as well as a link. Even in these times when we give them a very thorough answer, we always want to direct them back to one of our three major sites, whether that's studentaid.gov, FAFSA.gov, or studentloans.gov. Going to the next slide, we're showing you that you don't necessarily have to like our Facebook page to leverage our content. Like I said before, it's a public page. So you can actually hit the like button that's circled there, or if you go to the next slide, you can see that you can like a specific post. By doing that, you don't necessarily have to subscribe to our news feed. You don't always have to see what's coming on your personal or your industrial Facebook website, or Facebook page, I guess I should say. So with our content, you can like any of our content, and that will be reposted in your news feed. That means your friends or anybody that's in your network can see what we've posted, and you don't necessarily have to write anything brand new. We understand that that's a lot of hard work. We do it every day. That's probably one of the hardest jobs that we have working within social media. What we want to do is we want to lighten that load for you and do a lot of the heavy lifting. If you go to the next slide, there's another way that you can leverage our content without actually having to subscribe to our page. You can share on one of our posts. That way, the difference between like and share is that something can either, if you like something, it'll go into your newsfeed. It doesn't live on your page, but all your friends can see it in the newsfeed. But if you share something, it goes to your page. It lives on your page, just as if you did your own post. And it allows you to make a caption above so that you can add your own personal twist to the post given. There's an example of my team lead, Susan Thayers, who shared a post on her page and how it came up in her newsfeed. Moving on to the next slide. I wanted to let you all know that we have 10 Facebook posts specifically around FAFSA completion that we have tried last year, that we put out and that we know has done well. We did a lot of metrics and measuring behind it. And these are our top 10 results, our Facebook status that got a lot of traction. One of the things that's special that we're trying to give you all today, which you can find these on on the Financial Aid Toolkit.ed.gov, is that we not only provide you with the content, but we provide you with the shortened links already that allows us to track where people are going on the website. But we also give you photos. Now, that's an added benefit within itself. A lot of times it's hard for us to really kind of come up with imagery that fits our business and to make those or to have to buy them through royalty-free imaging. That costs money. We're giving that to you today for free. Everything that we're talking about in this presentation is free and is totally accessible to you, totally accessible to the 508 community, and it's available today. If we go to the next slide, we can start talking about Twitter. Twitter has been awesome for us. We started in 2012, and we've grown to over 49,000 followers. I'm hoping that we can get to 50,000 followers not long after the new year in 2014. I'm very excited about that. We've got a lot of engagement on Twitter because Twitter is a little bit different than Facebook, where Facebook is more like a diary and people kind of live on Facebook. Twitter is kind of like a stream of consciousness where everything happens very fast. People use it in a lot of different ways. some as a news aggregator, some to host conversations, or to even keep notes, as we've seen this past week at a conference. People used a hashtag and went through different sessions within a conference and literally took notes, paraphrasing uh, the presenters and giving their thoughts on a particular session or subject matter. And they could see, other people could see those notes by following the hashtag. What we're trying to do is we're trying to capitalize off that momentum by posting on Twitter 3 times a day, twice on the weekends. But we understand that our base isn't just tweeting Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I'll give you an example of that shortly. But let me show you how you can leverage our tweets in the moment. For every tweet that we post, because Twitter is so condensed and we only have 140 characters to use, we always attach a link so that we could redirect them, not only give them our answer, but redirect them to the whole source of information. As you can see in the example, we use the same link shortener, bit.ly, that we use for Facebook. This allows us to do the same exact things. How can you leverage that? Well, going to the next slide, the easiest way to do that is by following us. If you have a Twitter account, or if your business has a Twitter account, all you have to do is find us at FSA and then follow our page. That way, everything that we post will come up in your news stream. Let me show you a different way. It's called retweeting. Retweeting is a simple button. If you see something that you find helpful that we've posted, which we think most of them are helpful to your customers, you can hit a button that says retweet on it, or it's the retweet function, and that specific post will come up in your newsfeed as if you posted it. This is another way that you can get our content and use it and repurpose it as your own. So that way your customers can have the answers to the information that they need right there on the spot. Next slide. Just like we did with Facebook, we wanted to provide you with tweets that you all could use. This time we provided you with 20 tweets because we know that Twitter is a lot faster than Facebook in terms of turnover rate for content. Again, we've supplied you all with bit.ly shortened links. We tried to do different type of posts to see what will work. And again, with Facebook, we took the top 20 that we used throughout the campaign for specifically for the FAFSA completion, which runs from December 28th through March 31st. So that's almost a full 3-month period of tweets. We took the top 20 out of them and gave them to you all so that you can use them throughout the same time of the year and hopefully have the same type of effects that we did. If you go to the next slide, excuse me, this is the additional way that we have that you can leverage our content. This one's a little bit harder, so you might need your IT department to help you with the coding, but we have some videos on our YouTube page that will walk you through the process. It's a video user guide. One of the cool things about that is you can watch it as many times as you want in private or in public. You can pause it or you can play it and do it step by step in order. So it really kind of gives you an easy way to be able to post this on your website. The cool thing about posting our tweets on your website is that it'll live in a tiny box that you determine where it's going to be on your web page. And that box will have our live feeds. As we tweet, it'll come up on that page. That allows your customers to see what we're talking about in the moment and can click on any one of those tweets, which will open up the our Twitter page in a new window or a new tab on their computer right there on the spot, so they can ask us questions directly. When we first started Twitter, we immediately got some traction, and we were wondering how are we going to keep this and sustain this and build this community up, because it was just a lot. One of the things that we tried to do that worked very well for us was doing office hours. Much like professors have office hours for their students to teach them after class, we try to have office hours that's appointment tweeting, so that's 1 day a month at a specific time that everyone can know and count on it being. We chose to do our Twitter office hours on Wednesdays, the last Wednesdays of every month, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We use a hashtag called #AskFAFSA. That way students can ask us any question that they may have on a particular subject matter that changes on a monthly basis and have their questions answered. We try to answer every question we can. We don't always get to answer all the questions within the allotted time frame, but we always go back the next day and try to make sure that we end the conversations on all points, because that's just great customer service. Hosting office hours is always pretty interesting. We do get trolls. We get people who like to have fun and make jokes on what make light of what we're saying. We do have some people who are angry that want to voice their frustration, and then we do have people who just have general questions that need to be answered. We try to handle all three of those types of customers all within that hour. Some we ignore, some we engage, and how we engage them is always just a little bit different. But these are some examples of the type of questions that we get and the answers that we give. Next slide. So what happens after the conversation is over on Twitter? Well, there's a platform that we use that's called Storify that really encapsulates the conversations that we have within office hours. So, like I said, each month the topic changes. Well, we have a Storify post for July, for August, September, October, November, and you can see all the questions that we were asked, all the answers that we gave back to those questions, all on the specific posts. It's a great way for you all to leverage our content by going back, looking at a particular subject matter that you might not be familiar with, and getting the most up-to-date answers that we have available. Next is our YouTube account. YouTube is our first social media property, and largely might be one of the most effective just because it's very shareable. One of the most shareable social media platforms that we have. We have a gamut of content, everything from an overview of the financial aid process to managing your student loans. It's great information. We're able to condense a lot of points in a little bit of time. What we try to do is, one of the problems that YouTube has in general is discovery. How do you learn about new videos, or how do you find a stream of related videos? What we try to do is in our playlist is have videos in specific categories that you might find or that you will find on our studentaid.gov website. Here are 3 of the 5 categories listed in the screenshot. That's types of aid, who gets aid, and FAFSA apply for aid. This way it's easy for you to find the videos that you need or that you want to show your students or your customers at any given time. So how do you leverage our content? Well, the easiest way is to subscribe to our YouTube page. Whether you're have a Gmail account or you have a YouTube account, they're both tied together. So if you go to YouTube and you go to our page, click subscribe, you'll be able to get notifications every single time. If you have a Gmail account, every single time we upload a new video, you'll get a notification either through email or through your Google Plus account, because they're all tied together. Embedding your videos on your website is great. Again, we want you to have attention magnets, something that'll keep people on your site or keep revisiting your site. Embedding your videos will give your students something to look at, something clickable, where they can get content and information without having to go to a completely different platform or leave your web page at all. Infographics are really cool. It's something that I work closely on here for the Department of Education, Federal Student Aid, and we're really excited about what we have coming to you in the future. I'll show you a list of those a little bit later. But infographics are a visual representation of information, whether that's an answer to a question or whether that's a step-by-step process. It really lays information out in a creative way to help you learn. Going to our next slide, we have a few, I can't remember how many we have offhand at this point because we're always creating some new ones, but we host them all on a website called Visually. Visually is a lot like, I guess the best way I can explain it is how YouTube, you can find videos on YouTube, you can find infographics on Visually. I guess that's the best way to, it's a infographic aggregator. So it collects them all and makes them searchable so you can discover more. We have all of our infographics that are available to date on this site, as well as on the Financial Aid Toolkit that you can find on financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov. I want to make sure I plug that any chance I get. If we go to the next slide, I can show you a way how we can leverage this on your website. Just like we can add videos or we can add a Twitter stream to your website, you can also add these infographics to your website. That way, students can get the information that they need in a way that they want it. Sometimes we have to realize that we have a lot of information that our students and our customers need, but we don't always connect it to them in a way that's maybe the most understandable. This is just another avenue that you can use to get them in the direction that they need to go. Oh, there's a list, I promise you, right there. So as you can see, we have a pretty heavy list of topics that we're trying to cover. There are even more topics that we're trying to get into. We're looking at, graduate students, videos for graduate students. We're looking at, kind of, now that we've covered the basis over some videos, we want to take a second step in to give you a little bit more detail of what is possible with applying and once you get your federal student loans. As you can see, in 2014, we've listed 3 that we're working on currently. That's very close to being finished. I can't wait for you guys to see them and give us some feedback on what you think. Blog posts are really, really, really critical for us. It really helps us gain traction. They're searchable on Google if they're looking for a particular subject matter or topic and they want to go to Google. These are things that pop up. Your SEO, search engine optimization, is very important for any organization or any institution because the subject matter doesn't live just within our 4 walls on the internet. It's got to be searchable. So we've gone through and we've created these blog posts that we want to share with you today. We want to empower you with information because we know information is power within itself. We've taken a lot of time to make sure the grammar is right and everything is where it needs to be so that we can give this to you and that you can post this on your own page. You can take this content and make it your own, simple as copy and pasting. We've provided these links to these blog posts to you on the Financial Aid Toolkit as well that are searchable in the searchable section on the Financial Aid Toolkit. So let's get to the fun part, which is customer engagement for me. A lot of times what we do is pretty repetitive, but it's those engagements that are different every day. And I want to give you 2 examples. The first one on the left is a cat meme. It's pretty funny. Somebody actually tweeted that to us, and we took a few days to really decide what we were going to do with it because we thought it was absolutely hilarious. And this is a great example of how we actually leverage other people's content. What we did was we retweeted that message, and we got a lot of traction off of it. Memes are very funny, and they travel very fast, very quickly. They're very viral. Some of the feedback that we got from those memes were really good, and there's an example at the bottom by Julia. She said, mine is still boggled by the fact that mine is still boggled by the fact that the FAFSA took me 5 minutes to complete and that they're using cat puns. Internet's drunk, y'all. That kind of feedback is what we love because that really means that FAFSA, you're doing a really great job and it didn't take me that long to do. A lot of times young students or young customers associate the FAFSA with federal student aid. So we wanted to make it simple, and we used the @FAFSA handle. But that was really a case where we saw a person looking at something, laughing at something, connecting to it, understanding it, and becoming our advocate to spread a good message. That's what we do. That's our goal every day. The other example was from John, who wasn't sure he was going to be able to file his FAFSA on time because he didn't file his taxes yet. We assured him that it wasn't too late, and he was really happy and said he wanted to give us a high five and a kiss. So on our office hours, it's a table, and there's about 8 of us there on a monthly basis. And in that moment, we just decided to do something really fun and really cool and engage him with a little bit of humor. And so my 2 colleagues, Cindy Forbes Cameron and Nicole Callahan, decided, hey, let's blow him a kiss back. So we took a picture of it, and the response that we got was awesome. People like seeing that we humanize our message, that it's not a machine behind these tweets. If you have the opportunity, make sure that you put your character, your personality into these conversations and into these engagements, because that's what makes your customers trust you and value the relationship and keep coming back on social media. Next slide. We also have web banners that are available. These are web banners that you can use on your web page as another piece of visual collateral that can also redirect students back to our studentaid.gov page. This is really great because it links them back to our main hub and source of information. As a trusted source, I really don't know of any other better place that you can link them to. Our social media campaigns are something that I mentioned earlier in this presentation. Let me give you those dates to be a little bit more specific. The FAFSA completion campaign begins December 28th through March 31st. Then we have our loan repayment campaign, which is divided up into two sections. One for upcoming graduating students, and that campaign, the first campaign runs through May 10th through June 30th. And the second campaign comes around the time those students will graduate and after their 6-month grace period. And that campaign starts November 6th through December 15th. The reason why we've divided this up is so that it follows the life cycle of the student loans, and that we can target our messaging to what is actually happening in our customers' lives at the moment. We suggest that you follow these key dates because we want to make sure that we have our message in a movement. The more people that talk about the same thing at the same time on social media really drive attention. And I think it could be helpful in a lot of the answers. We can share a lot of the same answers. I don't want to really repeat myself too much, but here's a slide that really kind of reiterates what's available from social media on the Financial Aid Toolkit. I'm really excited about everything we're providing. The toolkit is an ever-growing library. We're going to keep putting new things in there and keep giving you information and tools that you might be able to use. I'm so excited that we've started this. It's a new dawn and a new era. This is where you can find us on social media if you're interested in seeing what we're doing. Just, not necessarily ready to participate yet. You're just trying to decide whether to dip your toe in there or whether you're experienced and you just want to see what we're doing. Feel free to visit us. Talk to us. You can have conversations with us as well. Please find us if you need us. We're always here. Social media never goes to sleep. Thank you all for your time. I'm going to hand it back to Wendy at this moment.
Okay, I'm back to share some more resources with you. Everything that we've given you, I know that we've shared a lot of information with you in this first half an hour, and we have probably another 15 minutes or so to go in our presentation, then we can take some questions. All of this information we've shared is available on the Financial Aid Toolkit ed.gov website. That is the new website that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation. All these social media resources are there in addition to the videos and infographics we spoke of, and the things that I'm going to talk about next you will also find them there on that website. What I'd like to talk about next are public service announcements. Last January 2013, FSA launched a PSA campaign on print, radio, TV, and web. And there was, the ads were in English and in Spanish. And we had our goals for this was to raise awareness about Federal Student Aid, the office, that we actually exist, that there's an office within the federal government that focuses on giving financial aid for post-secondary education. In addition to the fact that we have monies available to go to college in the form of loans, grants, and work studies. So that's what these PSAs were focused around. These PSAs that we currently have in this campaign will run through the end of this month, which is December 2013. And then we're going to start a new campaign just in English on TV and radio that will air through 2014. All of these PSAs are available on the Financial Aid Toolkit.ed.gov website, along with the studentaid.gov website. We would love for you to use these in your local community. For the television ones, you can go to your local TV station to see if they will air them. We have 30-second ones and 60-second ones, and I believe there's even a 15-second one. With your local radio or your local newspaper, it would be wonderful if you could share them with those. If your high school has a newspaper, you could use the print ad in that, and the web through your websites. Definitely use the web ad, public service announcement. So please, these are there for you to use. We'd love for you to help us spread the word that there are funds available. The other resource I'd like to talk about are publications. I'm sure many of you know about our publications already, but we just wanted to take a moment to share with you the different publications that we have available. You can order these through studentaid.gov. Actually, they're available for you to download on studentaid.gov. FSA.gov/resources. And then you can also order the publications. They are free of charge, and the shipping is free as well. And the website for that is FSAPubs.gov. You could just go to that site and order the publications. Next slide. Then a few other resources before we turn it over to Q&A. StudentAid.gov, we showed you this at the beginning of the presentation. This is the website where you should send students, parents, and borrowers. They can find all the information they need around the financial aid life cycle right there. And then at studentaid.gov/resources, you will find listing of our resources. Now it's really a place for parents or students to go. For you, we now have this new website, the Financial Aid Toolkit, and I would ask you to start there and find the information that you're looking for. What we've done for you on this slide is actually give you some shortened URLs for places on studentaid.gov that we think you'll be directing your students to on a regular basis. The basic information around the FAFSA, basic information on types of aid that we have available. This way you can use these shortened URLs on your handouts or on your website, so you don't have to give them that lengthy URL. So it's just another tool for you to be able to use. And we have two new features that are coming on studentaid.gov, one in just a few weeks and the other in early 2014. These are really geared towards individuals that are working with borrowers. Actually, the first one is actually for everyone, so I apologize for that statement. The first one is a repayment calculator. Here's where you can log in, enter in your estimated loans, and then it'll tell you what your estimated repayment amount will be. I think this is very beneficial for individuals as they're going through the process of deciding what loans to take out and how much to take out. This will be available in Spanish, and it will be mobile optimized, and we're hoping that it will be available to you on studentaid.gov by December 15th. The next tool that we have that's being created is an SLDS data display. This, I don't know if you're familiar with NSLDS or not. That's just another website that we currently have where a borrower can see all of their loan information and how many loans they have and who their loan servicer is. We're putting that information on studentaid.gov, of course, through a login process, and that way the borrower only has to go to one website to gather this information. The next one. The next tool that we have for you is a FAFSA demo site, and there's a username and password for that, which we've shared with you here. This is a great site for you to go through so you can become familiar with the new FAFSA. So as you're helping your students through their process, you will know what the different questions are. You may even want to walk through this demo site with a group of your students so they become familiar with what's asked for on the application before they actually go in and complete the application. The other thing that we have is a call center. It's Federal Student Aid Information Center. This call center can answer general questions about the FAFSA, about this SAR, which is the student report that is generated once someone fills out the FAFSA, and the phone number is right here. So this is a place that you can go along with the students and parents can go to get questions answered. Now we will turn it over to some of your questions. I know that some of you have been sending in your questions, and we appreciate that. So we're going to just take a minute to scroll through these to see what we can answer at this moment. One was very easy, which was the website address for the new tool. It's Financial Aid Toolkit, all one word, @ed.gov. Another question was, will this PowerPoint be available afterwards? My understanding is that it will be available. This whole presentation will be available on demand through College Week Live. So that's something that will be there for you. We're just going to scroll down to see what the other ones are. Sorry, someone had said, could you speak up? And we just saw that now. I hope you could hear us.
Okay.
That's good. Let's try and find a question.
I don't have a Twitter account.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a Twitter account. The stuff you said about Twitter went right over my head. Can I get something in writing to share with the people at school? Yeah, actually you can. If you go to studentaid.gov/social, we have a list of our policies and how we handle each specific platform, what we do for comments, for monitoring comments and replying back. So you can definitely find more literature on our social media accounts by going to studentaid.gov/social.
In addition, for those of you that aren't in the social media space, if you go to financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov, there's a section there on where conduct outreach. Under conduct outreach, there's a section called articles and emails, and there we have sample language that you could use in a local newspaper article or in the school newspaper or in emails as well, so that you can get information out about financial aid. So this question is, how can nonprofits that support educators and students support you? Where exactly is the media kit? So the media kit is on financialaidtoolkit.ed.gov. If you go under conduct outreach, there's a section called social media, and that's where you'll find that information. And the best way to support us is to actually use these resources that we have available for you through the Financial Aid Toolkit website. You can also complete a survey and let us know what you may be looking for. Maybe there's resources that you haven't found on our website that we can then create for you. So we are here to help you through this process. So please do let us know if there's things that we don't have that would help you.
Feel free. There's a little bit more time for a few more questions, and we'd love to hear from you at this time if you have any questions. Oh, here comes one.
Do you have anything for first generation college students? I think yes, in the Financial Aid Toolkit, if you go under conduct outreach, we have target audiences, and I believe one of those target audiences is first generation. Another target audience, just so you know, is adult learner, and then a few others are borrowers or parents that you may want to target as well during your outreach.
Even as early as middle school students, yes, and high school students as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is awesome. I'm glad we're getting this much feedback. All these questions and comments are really great. Thank you for participating.
We have a few more minutes, so we'll stick around for a few more minutes to see if some more questions come in. Is there one more down there?
Yep.
I joined in late, so yeah, the PowerPoint should be available through College Week Live. So sorry, I read the question, answered it, but without telling you what the question was. The question was, will the PowerPoint be available? And yes, it will be available through College Week Live. And another question that came in is, are there resources available for undocumented students? And if you go, there's two places you could go. You could go to our toolkit website, Financial Aid Toolkit.ed.gov, and there is some information there for undocumented students. It's for non-U.S. citizens. It's what it's labeled under. So there's information there, and there's also information on studentaid.gov. Is there information for U.S.-born citizens with undocumented parents? Yes, under that same section, you would probably find information there. As you probably well know, a U.S. citizen can apply for aid. The parents' citizenship does not affect a child's eligibility for aid.
I noticed that a few of you are commenting that the demo site is not working. That's something that we'll take a look at as soon as we leave the presentation. Thank you for alerting us. We'll get that back up for you as soon as possible. This question is, are we able to share the infographics freely on our own websites, newsletters, social media, etc.? Sorry if you've already answered this. No apologies necessary. Repetition deepens the impression. You are absolutely able to use any of our content. I was saying at a presentation last week that we want to be the Napster of financial aid content. We want to be able to share with you what we have, and we want you to use it in creative ways. And then share back with us the way that you're using it, because we want to be able to show other people how you're using this content and what works for you, so that we can keep the momentum going on all ends. We can learn from you all just the way that you learn from us.
And all of this content is free for you to use. There's no charge associated with it whatsoever. The question is, we work with students in foster care. they seem to get selected for verification all the time, which delays their financial aid packets. Is there any advice you can give us to help? We unfortunately don't have any specific advice for that. I know that it's a difficult situation for foster care students to go through, but there's no real way around that piece with the verification at this point. And if a student does not have a social security number, you can still apply for aid. But I think I would need, sorry, the question was if a student does not have a social security number, can they still apply for aid? There are students in the U.S. territories that do not, they are not issued social security numbers, so they can still apply for aid. I don't know if that's the situation here or not. Otherwise, I would check the website to see for more information about that piece, about the Social Security.
Erica, your comment about Napster being so retro. Yeah, I kind of dated myself there, but it's a great comparison that I could, just think of a spur of the moment. Liz Stack, you asked, what should kids who are graduating in May use? I thought it was the 2014 through 15 form, but one of your slides suggested it was the 13.
No, it would be the 13-14 form because they are still, the school year that they're in is 13-14. So they should use the 13-14 form. The form that goes up on January 1st is the form for students that are starting school in the fall. I know it's confusing.
We think so too.
So the next one is, do you ever present at education conferences to communicate these resources to educators, or do you have plans to? Only online for now. We actually do have a whole team that travels across the country that are part of our group, our awareness and outreach group that travels across the country to do presentations. So if there is a need that you have, please go to our website, and in the survey you can fill out that you have a request for that. In addition, I think our emails are at the end of this presentation. Then you can also email us as well and let us know. We are hoping to do a lot more webinars as well on different topics around the financial aid process. Do you have any, the question is, do you have any webinars that show line-by-line FAFSA completion? We don't have any yet that show line-by-line FAFSA completion, but in the last few weeks, people have been asking for that, so you may see that soon. We do have a video that talks you through the FAFSA application, meaning it tells you what documents you need before you fill out the FAFSA and the information that you may have to gather prior to filling out the FAFSA, so it makes it easier once you are filling it out. But we will take note that it may be beneficial to create a video that has the line-by-line.
Kayla asked, does your team ever guest blog? That's a great question. To this date, we have once or twice before. My colleague Nicole Callahan specifically has. As the request will come in, we'll definitely take a look at it versus our resource time and see what we can accommodate. But we also have people come in and do guest blogs for us as well. We've done that a couple of times. So we do feel that that's important, and that's something that we'd like to do in the future.
There's one about the government shutdown. I'm curious to see what that question is.
Let's go to that right here.
With the government shutdown and the rumor of IRS filings being delayed, will this cause problems with the IRS matching? So the IRS data retrieval tool is actually going live in February. So I think it's a little bit later than it was originally planned because of the government shutdown. But please know that your students can fill out the FAFSA without having submitted their tax returns yet, because they could do the estimated amounts, and please encourage them to do that.
Kayla, will definitely look forward to that email. Thank you.
Okay, so if sure.
Okay.
So if a student has a resident ID number, do they enter that number where it asks for a social security number? I believe they have an option. If you go to the FAFSA demo site that we had listed, you can go through, and I think they let you know what you need to do if they have an ID number versus a social security number. Sorry, we are experts at the resources that we've created. We are nowhere experts on financial aid itself. So we'd love for you to go to studentaid.gov or to the Financial Aid Toolkit for those very specific questions that you have.
Chris Dry just asked, do you host webinars for students and parents to relay this information in addition to the office hours and websites? Yeah, that's a great question. We are really going all in on webinars for 2014. We've started, we've done, FAFSA 101, and we're getting a lot of great feedback and traction, just like we are here. And the more feedback, positive feedback that we get, saying that this is something that our customers and their associates will want, the more we're going to do. So we look forward to doing more in 2014.
And then just so you know, we actually, as Jared mentioned, we actually did a webinar for parents and students a few weeks ago that was hosted by FSA. That webinar will, in a few weeks, be available on the Financial Aid Toolkit website. And we would love for you to download that and use that with your students and parents if you're having financial aid events with them. I think that's it.
And, we definitely wanted to give you all our contact information. If you, have any other, areas where we can help in terms of resources, please let us know your ideas. Show us, again, please show us what you're doing, because everybody's not going to do the same thing, and somebody might have a different idea than anything we've ever thought of. So please feel free to, give back and show us what you're doing with that content so that we can show others in a webinar maybe in the future.
I think there's maybe a few more questions may have come in. Let's see. Okay. No. We'll stay on just for a few more minutes in case any of you come up with questions. Thank you for taking the time to spend this hour with us and learn about the resources we have.
Now it's like kind of being in a fishbowl, just looking. Oh, there we go. Do you have a team who works with curriculum writers to work these resources into a curriculum?
Okay, so it says, do you have a team who works with curriculum writers to work these resources into a curriculum? I guess I'm not sure I understand that question. Maybe what you're saying is how one would do outreach from, starting in the fall and going on into the spring. That's actually something that we're thinking through on how to work on that. That's hopefully something you'll see in 2014 from us that will really be able to help you through that process. I think the toolkit is the first step, though, that you can start off with saying, okay, I just want to give people an introduction to financial aid, and then you'll find PowerPoint presentations and videos, infographics that you can use around that topic. And then how to fill out the FAFSA would be the next step, and you'll find a PowerPoint presentation around that and so forth. So I think we're sort of building that in, but we just now need to come up with a tighter package for that.
Keisha Williams, do you need a PIN to get into the demo FAFSA? No, you don't, but we do have a username and a password that we would like you to use, and then it will work. We understand that there might be some issues with that site today. We'll take a look at that and troubleshoot any problems so we can get that back up for you as soon as possible.
Great. Thank you again. I think we'll sign off for the evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.